Welcome to episode number 7 of season 2 of What If Harry Potter Was in Star Wars. Thank you so much for your support on the other parts of this series, as we are now really close to 4,000 subscribers. If you haven't seen those parts, or series 1, the links will be in the description below. Also, the second video on my other channel What If Sports is out, so feel free to check that out after you've watched this video. Enjoy. A dozen masked Death Eaters had their wands primed upon the Jedi, with no inclination of showing mercy. Rolling to opposing sides, before Yoda pushes 2 kiosks into the path of the Death Eaters. The Death Eaters put up a shield charm, and the wood bounces harmlessly onto the ground. The clones use their ascension cables and climb the side of the walls, attempting to flank the Death Eaters. The Death Eaters are forced to split up, allowing the Jedi to take down 4 of them and barge their way through the front entrance, slicing the iron gates. But this causes the clones to be exposed, with Captain Rex hit by a Jellylegs curse. Wrecker has had enough and rushes straight towards 2 Death Eaters, hoisting them both in the air and slamming them into the wall, breaking their spines. Crosshair then simultaneously took out 2 more Death Eaters with his sniper rifle. On the other side of the entrance, the Jedi take out the remainder of the Death Eaters with relative ease, causing Harry to be suspicious. Death Eaters were not that weak. After undoing the curse on Rex, Harry used a vanishing spell on one of the Death Eaters' masks, and Harry now knew why they were so weak. These were merely animated dummies. Obi-Wan did a more thorough search of the bodies, and finds each of them with a port key, clearly aimed to lure any witch or wizard. It was best to leave them alone for now. Whilst the Jedi had been fighting the Death Eaters, Tech and Hunter had been searching for Master and Julie, whom Anakin had previously felt was here. Discarding the dummies to one side, together they enter the complex. Hunter led the way, with Tech giving out directions, but they were all stopped in their tracks by a scream of pain. All of them sprinted towards the noise, finding themselves in a room of torture devices. Master and Julie was tied to the rack, her limbs stretching in all directions, and only her use of the Force stopping them flying off. Anakin and Ahsoka cut the bindings off, with precise strikes from their lightsabers, freeing the Jedi. Luminara staggers to her feet, but not before Yoda performs several Force healing techniques to boost her weakened body. The whole building suddenly shook, and the Jedi knew what was arriving. Harry blasts the nearest wall, allowing the Jedi and the clones to leap their way through, exiting from the back. Now moving back towards Charing Cross Station, they see the Tower of London collapsing into flames. This time, it is real Death Eaters, not holding back and using fiend fire without any care. There was no time to waste, for the other Jedi could meet the same fate. Tech took the lead once more, speeding towards the hospital that Obi-Wan had seen. Now entering the street that Obi-Wan had seen, the Jedi and clones stopped, for they saw nothing like a hospital, rather a dilapidated department store. Harry, however, knew exactly where this place was. St. Mungo's Hospital for Magical Maladies and Injuries. How Master Sakura got in he had no idea, presumably an accident, but she could be in just as much danger as Master and Julie had been. Harry showed the Jedi and clones inside, where not to Harry's surprise, nobody was waiting for them. But there was no need. Master Sakura's Force presence was loud and clear, for some reason not blocked unlike with Master and Julie. Perhaps it was the lack of pain. Master Sakura and her clones are unharmed. Heading back outside, the scene is now a lot different. The Death Eaters now spread their fire across London, leaving the buildings ablaze. The Muggles are either burnt to a crisp or already evacuated. The Jedi grit their teeth. This would not happen on their watch. Suddenly, from a side alleyway, emerged Shakti, Plo Koon, and the Wolf Pack, looking visibly exhausted, with blood all over. They had experienced at first hand the severity of the damage, and now it was time to restore peace. With a combined force push from all of the Jedi, they pushed the fire back to its source, providing slight respite. Anakin, Ahsoka and Obi-Wan tried to take advantage, moving towards the fire and pushing it back further, despite the protests from Harry. As Harry had predicted, this was a bad idea, as the fire pushed back against them, forcing the trio to run back to their safe spot. Anakin and Obi-Wan perform one giant leap back, but Ahsoka is not so fortunate, the side of her torso igniting. Anakin uses the Force to lift out Ahsoka, before Harry reversed the curse. Looking at the charred robes of Ahsoka, he sees a dark substance seeping from her pouch. Cutting it open, much to Togruta's annoyance, he sees the Hufflepuff's cup has melted from the fiend fire. Perhaps there were uses to this after all. For now though, Harry knew he could not contain the whole fire with one curse. Despite knowing its counter, he would need a lot of time. Placing a protective shield over the Jedi, Harry stepped forward and summoned his new powers from within, undoing the curse meter by meter. The Jedi look on, wondering if they should try and intervene. Their questions are answered by a dozen or so of actual Death Eaters this time, firing spells at incredible speed. Harry immediately reapplied his disillusionment charm, but this sapped some of the energy off of the counter curse, slowing down his progress. The Jedi, on the other hand, are making good progress, as Harry's shield is powerful enough to withstand most of their spells, giving the Jedi the chance to press their attack. Plo Koon's Force Judgment proves to be useful, its unexpected nature throwing the Death Eaters off balance and causing them to double over in pain. Mace Windu twirls his blade, and Saber throws all of the heads off of the Death Eaters, before turning his head to the right and seeing Harry on the floor. That is it for episode 7 of season 2 of What If Harry Potter Was in Star Wars. If you'd like to see part 8 of this series, please like this video, and if you're new to this channel or my other channel, subscribe for more tips. And as always, leave a comment or what if you'd like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.